going on? Hello there. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties on my part. TechNation editor John Wallace here. Welcome to the Tools of the Trade live demo webinar. Today, PartsSource PRO Smarter Parts Procurement for HTM teams, eligible for 1 CE credit from the ACI. Today's presenter is Jason Meister, Director of Technical Services and Sales Engineering at PartsSource. In today's demo, Jason will walk us through how PartsSource PRO helps HTM teams simplify parts procurement while improving efficiency, cost control, and quality. He'll begin with a real-world technician scenario, demonstrating how users can quickly search for a part, compare OEM and high-quality alternative options, and place an order in just a few clicks, using real-time pricing, availability, and lead time data. You'll see how easy it is to make confident purchasing decisions without the usual back and forth. Next, Jason will show how PartsSource PRO integrates with CMMS and ERP systems to reduce manual data entry and support accurate, consistent purchasing workflows, saving time while minimizing errors. The demo will then highlight the HTM Command Center, a centralized dashboard that provides real-time visibility into open orders, approvals, returns, and sourcing activity. This powerful tool eliminates unnecessary email chains and allows teams to manage by exception, focusing only on what truly needs attention. Jason will also demonstrate visual analytics, revealing actionable insights into spend, savings opportunities, supplier performance, and quality metrics, including return rates. By the end of the session, you will see how PartsSource PRO combines technology, data, and a curated supplier network to drive faster workflows, measurable savings, and greater confidence in every part order. Thank you to today's sponsor, PartsSource. With the mission of ensuring healthcare delivery is always on, PartsSource empowers owners and operators of mission-critical equipment to maximize clinical availability and patient throughput, while achieving sustainable savings and efficiencies. The PartsSource enterprise software platform, PartsSource PRO, enables more than 1,600 leading hospitals nationwide to maximize asset uptime, reduce cost, and increase procurement efficiency related to equipment maintenance. For more information, visit partsource.com. All right, trivia time. We're going to give away a multi-tool. The trivia question today is, March is National Peanut Month. Which state is the largest producer of peanuts? Which state in the United States is the largest producer of peanuts? Go ahead and submit your answers now. And while everyone is sending in their responses, I want to remind you to download the handouts from the webinar dashboard. Okay, stay tuned later today. In the webinar, we'll announce the answer and the winner of the multi-tool. I also want to remind everyone that today's presentation is eligible for 1 CE credit from the ACI. 1 hour after the end of today's broadcast, you will receive an emailed survey. Completing that survey will grant you access to your CE certificate, which you can download and print. You must complete the survey to receive credit. We will wrap up today's webinar with a live Q&A session. Please note that the webinar dashboard includes a question feature. You can submit your questions for Jason at any time during the demo. Jason, you may begin whenever you are ready.
Oh, fantastic. Appreciate that. So, hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jason Meister. I'm the Director of Technical Services and Sales Engineering with PartsSource. And while many of you may be familiar with PartsSource or maybe even seen some of this before, I like to be able to, start with the history of where we came from and really lay out not only PartsSource and how you interact with the tools and website and interface today, but also how you can expand your involvement with PartsSource via PartsSource PRO, which is our enterprise level program. Now, PartsSource has been around for around 25 years, and many of you, if not all of you, have purchased from PartsSource at some point in time. You've probably seen this website, and a lot of stuff is going to be fairly intuitive as you go through the website. But hopefully I'll be able to show you some tips and tricks and really explain the way that it ties back to our enterprise level solutions. Now, PartsSource, when we started out, a lot of experience with finding hard to find parts. People would reach out when they couldn't find parts. We had a PartsSource website, it was eParts Finder. You could do some searching, some limited searching, and we found all these very difficult to find parts. And as PartsSource expanded, we figured if we can find those hard to find parts, maybe we can do more for the industry with the easy to find parts as well. So we started expanding the website and really trying to put as much volume of parts as we could possibly get into the website. And as soon as you do that, you start to realize that when you have as much in there as possible, you need to make sure that these are not only parts that are available, but parts that are of a very high quality. Quality becomes a huge metric. So we refocused our effort to make sure that the catalog wasn't just expansive, but that a catalog was highly quality focused as well. Putting precision procurement tools in place that ensure that only the highest quality parts make it onto the catalog, and that those returns are constantly measured through 12 different metrics to determine that the parts that are available are always of the highest quality, meaning that you're going to get only 5-star reviewed items, meaning that if there are a dozen different parts, we're only going to show you the highest quality part, and we're going to constantly measure those vendors' performances to ensure that those parts are made available to you. The other thing that people don't always understand is they say, hey, Jason, do you have this part? And while PartsSource does warehouse and stock a large number of items to be able to drive down cost, improve deliverability, for a myriad of other reasons, we also work a hybrid model that allows us to leverage the volume of stock that exists inside of all of the different vendors and manufacturers as well. So while PartsSource may have this part and you may get it directly from them, you can order these parts directly through PartsSource, and they're going to drop ship directly from the vendors and manufacturers that you know. And we're going to leverage our volume in order to be able to drive discounts at that aggregate level. So really important to understand that it's not about whether or not PartsSource has it. If you want to buy an OEM part, there's a good chance that that part is going to ship directly from the OEM that you select. If not, PartsSource will have it in stock, or we'll make arrangements in order to get you those parts. So really, really important information. Now, what we have up is the PartsSource website. This is the website that all of you can go to. I'm in a demo environment, so don't worry about the name Pete or Chatham Memorial Hospital or any of the pricing that you see. But when you come into the PartsSource website and you log in, you're going to get a tailored experience. And while we didn't try to reinvent a website, right? Our logo's in the upper left-hand corner. We have a shopping cart icon that looks like a shopping cart, big search bar across the top. What we try to do is bring as much of that information and many of these different tools into the website, and we display them in a number of different locations. So whether you're a technician that's just looking to order some parts and get updates on how you're progressing, if you're a team lead looking to manage a particular shop or group of people, whether you're a director that's over 10 hospitals and you want to understand larger aggregate understandings of how you do business, we're going to have all of the information that we're collecting through our platform, and we're going to make it available to you in different locations and in different ways to empower you and be able to give all that information to you at your fingertips. Now, from this page, you're going to see across the top, we've got a search bar. If we come in and we start typing in a part number, we are going to get a very familiar looking search results page with filters on the left-hand side that allow us to drill down. What you can't see happening behind the scenes, other than the quality engine, is how we connect all of this information in the back end. I typed in DS100A, and it got me to my search result. Now, if there are other manufacturers that sell this part, or if a manufacturer has been bought, a name has changed, part numbers have changed, simple or complex supersessions have happened over the years, PartsSource is going to manage all of that information in the background. And what that does is it goes ahead and it allows for you to come in, search with the part number that you know. And when you search with the part number that you know, you're going to be able to get to whatever it is that you're looking for. Meaning that you're going to be able to come in here, you're going to be able to search for the DS100A that you know. But if I click on equivalents, you can see there are all of these other manufacturers, all of these other names that exist that you would be able to go ahead and, if we search with any one of these part numbers, we're going to get to that same result, making it as easy as possible for you to be able to go, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is the part number that I'm holding, but I get to that search result. Now, once we find the parts that we're looking for, all we have to do is click on it. Same way you click on any part, in order to get to a part detail page. The same way if we were on Amazon or we were on any of our other e-commerce websites, we can go ahead and click on that. And we're going to go ahead and be able to come in and view the search results or to see the product details for this particular page, meaning we're going to be able to jump in. We're going to be able to do a quick search for the part. And then once we are able to search for that part, we're going to be able to go ahead and see the details or the available options for that particular option. So in this case, I have a user that's set up to handle a couple of different hospitals. So we're going to make a choice and we're going to get to our search results. Now, this particular part, we have a couple of options that are made available to us, and we can see them on the left-hand side. We have a new OEM original part where we can take a look at the warranty, pricing, and availability. We also have a performance line part. Both of these are outright purchases, and it allows me to quickly compare and contrast these items. It allows me also, from our pro customers, meaning our enterprise customers, to take that curation an extra level. So PartsSource is already taking a look, and we could know a dozen different cables. We're only going to show you the 2 best options. Now, as a PartsSource Pro customer, someone who's entered into an enterprise agreement with PartsSource, when you come in here and you do this searching, you can refine these results. You can curate them via formularies so that you can tailor the way that your parts procurement is occurring directly for your organization. In this case, the performance line is selected as a preferred choice. So we see it up top. We see that we have a blue check mark. We have a preferred choice logo that exists inside here. This is letting us know that my organization, Chatham Memorial Hospital, has chosen this as my preferred option. I mean, this is what I expect my team to purchase, unless there's a reason they don't want to. Now, these formularies can be as simple as just putting a little preferred choice logo. We can go ahead and remove other options, remove other vendors. We can make it so that this is the only option available, or that you have to require feedback or justification when you want to order outside of these preferred controls. And what this allows via formulary and via the PartsSource platform is for you really to take control of the supply chain. As we look at organizations' data, we look at how technicians go out and source for and find and purchase parts. And we see wide variation in not only the parts that are purchased, where they're purchased, and the price that they're purchased for, but we don't see any organizations that are able to effectively track performance and quality of their vendors. Meaning that when a organization wants to understand why they made selections or where they're ordering parts, or you want to dictate change, a lot of times it's, hey, I searched for a part, and if the OEM feels expensive, or if it's an item that we think that we can get from somewhere else at a high quality, or I happen to have some experience in purchasing that, or I can ask somebody in my shop and go, hey, where do we get these from? We're going to make those purchasing habits. Now, where that falls down is people can leave, times can change. You can find high quality options and you don't purchase them for 6, 9, 10 months, and you got to remember to come back to them. So this allows us to put a supply chain vetted tool that is constantly monitoring vendor performance. It allows every technician, whether they've worked there for 50 years or that you hired them 15 minutes ago, when you say, hey, we need some DS100As, they're going to come in, they're going to get the exact same result. And if you as an organization or as a leader decide to change that result, you say, hey, these performance lines are great, let's make them our option. You make that change, and instantaneously, every technician, whether it's 5 guys in a shop or 500 people spread across 6 states, instantaneously, that supply chain change is going to be there. And on the flip side, all of the spend that's happening, all of the part purchases that are happening through the whole network of PartsSource vendors, all feed into this performance to ensure that this is a constantly managed, quality-driven results engine. Meaning that when a vendor, for any reason, stops being able to provide a high quality part, the system will automatically pull them. If we have another vendor we can put in place, we will, or we will remove it while they go into corrective action and we try to resolve whatever issues they're having. So high quality focus, ensuring that you're able to control the supply chain, and that we're able to get repeatable results every time. Now, once you're in here, you can see and compare these different options. We can look on the right-hand side, see our descriptions. We can see when the part is going to be made available, when it ships. So in this case, I select on the OEM, and we can see, hey, it ships today, order by 3 o'clock. We're going to be able to come down. We can add items into lists, and I'll cover those in a second, but these lists are like favorites that you can then jump into and pull from in the future. But when you find a part that you're looking for, we go ahead and we add it into the cart, and we can get asked a number of different things. Now, this has a non-preferred choice, so I'm asking for justification. If I go to add in the performance line, that's my option. I have a required entry of entering in my work order number. I can also set things for like asset ID, serial numbers. In this case, you can see they're down here because we have some contracting pieces that are put in place. But once these items are put in place, you can go ahead and add this item into your shopping cart. Once you're in your shopping cart, you can continue to shop around, or we can go ahead and complete the checkout process. Now, we alluded to the way that this integration works inside of different systems. We have integrations that allow us to launch out of the CMMS. We have integrations that allow you to start a requisition and launch directly into PartsSource via your ERP and access that catalog and allow that data to flow back into the system. So we have a number of different ways that you can come into the system and process these orders, whether you're utilizing an approval workflow, buying on a blanket PO, creating requisitions, working out of a CMMS, lots of different options to meet your needs as an organization. Now, if we do add these items into the shopping cart or into a list, the list is amazing because it allows you to save these favorites, and we can save them just for me. I can save it for my entire organization. I can change it just for my shop, but it allows me to build lists, and then I can pull up things like I can make a list of these are all of the items that we stock. We have 25 cables or batteries that we stock frequently, and I don't want to search the catalog every time. No problem. We can come in here. We can have them as a list. We can choose to make bulk selections. We can select these items individually, adjust their quantity, and we can add these to the shopping cart, and we can purchase them all at the exact same time. And where this is really powerful is that today when you go to purchase parts, if you're going to purchase a parts for stock and you need to buy 10 parts from 10 vendors, well, that's 10 requisitions, 10 POs, 10 different processes that you're working through. It's an organization receiving 10 different invoices, 10 different places to follow up on if there's an issue or something that you need to adjust inside the order. With PartsSource, you can place all of these items into the same shopping cart, purchase them with the same PO, even if they're for 10 different organizations, and we'll manage all of the back end on our end, all your individual statuses, tracking information, all of that information will automatically pull directly back into your system. So it allows you to consolidate the effort that you're doing, reduce the number of POs you have to manage, reduce the number of different places you have to reach out to. And when you do need to follow up, if you do have to trigger a return, if you do want to add anything or ask any questions, the answer is always PartsSource. You can come directly back to PartsSource and you can get all of that information inside the same place. Now, if you know the part number, that's great. If you don't know the part number, you can just do a Google type search. I need a CareFusion case, and I type it in and I get some keywords, and I get 93 different tannish gray boxes and panels and things of that nature. I can continue to refine this like I was searching. I can narrow it, say, oh, actually I'm looking for a Medley 8300. I can click on it. I go, actually I'm looking for the rear case assembly. And through a couple of different searches, I'm able to get to the part I'm looking for. Not only do I see the rear case assembly for the 8300 that I was looking for, but I also see some case washers and screws, commonly utilized parts when purchasing this same part. Now, the reason we bring this up is because it's very important when you're looking for parts you're not familiar with, or if you come into the catalog and you can't find a part that you're looking for. This is usually where we start turning and picking up a phone or digging into the website or digging into the internet, trying to find where is this part? What is this part number? Where can I get it? What is the price? So that you can continue on with the job, which is how do I fix equipment? And waiting on hold doesn't do anybody any favors. There's so much more valuable things we can be doing with our time. So anytime you hit a dead end on the PartsSource website, you're going to have right down here at the bottom the ability to request a quote. Anytime you don't find what you're looking for, all you have to do, come in here, tell us what it is that you're looking for. If you found it on the internet already and you want to paste the URL, go ahead and do that. You tell us what you're looking for. We're going to search, see if it's there. If it's not, all you have to do is click request a quote. And what's going to happen is you can now go about your business. You can go do something else. You can go work on that next piece of equipment. You can go home for the day. You can have lunch. You can do whatever you need to do. And the PartsSource team is going to spring to action. We're going to look for, identify that part. We're going to generate quotes for you. And you're going to receive an email notification once that quote's available. Now, across here, you see some action items, including when you have quotes and exchanges and things of that nature. But when you receive the note that you have a quote available, you're going to be able to come in. We're going to be able to see the items we're awaiting quote. We're going to see the items that have been quoted. We're going to be able to see the available options for the items that have that we've requested a quote on. We're going to be able to compare and contrast, like, hey, what do these two options look like? Is it OEM, secondary market? Are they returnable? What is the return date? What is the overall return rate of these items? What is the available shipping speed of these items? All of the things that are important when you're making a decision. And from there, you can add those items into your shopping cart and you can purchase them just like you would purchase anything else that you would have found inside the catalog. So really saying, hey, while we have millions and millions of parts inside the PartsSource catalog, if for any reason you don't find what you're looking for, we're going to go out and find that part, and we're going to go ahead and create a quote, and you're going to be able to purchase it just like you would purchase anything else. Once you have this quote, you can add it into the shopping cart, and you can go ahead and purchase it just like you would purchase anything else. So it's really, really focused on making sure that when you're coming in here and looking for parts, you're going to either find what you're looking for, or you're going to be able to jump in and you're going to be able to request a quote. You're going to be able to view a quote. Now, once your order is placed, you're going to get the same level of communication and information through PartsSource as you do today. Meaning that you're going to be able to come in, you're going to see if you have an approval process, what's pending. But once a part's been ordered, you're going to know exactly where it is in the process. You're going to be able to track that throughout the process. You're going to receive notification once that item is shipped. You're going to have tracking numbers on all of your parts that are going to allow you to know where they are, when you're going to receive them. You're going to be able to come in here and see them all the way through to the point where they get delivered. So full clarity. It's not, hey, I create a requisition, I let this part order, this request go, and if I don't get a part in a week or I don't get a part in 2 weeks, I start asking questions on where it is. You have full visibility to not only your orders, but you can expand it out and you can look at all of your other orders as well. So you can look at the entire shop, all of the people involved in your department to see exactly where these items are and when they're going to be received. It goes deeper than that too. This is just what I'm working on right now. I'm a technician. I want to know where's the stuff I'm working on right now. But if I'm working on something and I go, hey, I'm working on this piece of equipment, and I want to know, I'm working on a piece of equipment and I want to know what this part was I bought last October. Well, all of your order history for anything that you've ever ordered through PartsSource is available on the website. Meaning I can come in here and I can say, hey, I want to see, everything we've ordered in the past 6 months, 8 months. I can apply these filters and see all these parts. I can come in and I can add or remove any of these data points that I want to see. If I want to know what the cost center, I want to search by manufacturer, I need to know pricing or OEM price. I need to know what model or shipment method I utilized. We can add these columns, they'll be available to you. And you can do these huge searches where you get tons of information. I have 814 results spread across, 10 pages inside here, 10 plus pages. While normally you'd be like, oh, that's a lot of information to dig through. Well, we can come right up top. And if we know something like a work order number or a manufacturer, is we start typing, all of those results completely narrow and we're able to quickly jump to whatever it is that we're looking for. So you can find that part, you can look up that order history, you can find what you ordered previously and reorder those parts. If you want to export this into Excel so that you can build your own reporting or view your information, all of this information is at your fingertips. So it's something that we make available to you all the time. So we're going to make it easy for you to find the part. Once the order has been completed, we're going to give you all of the tools to track that order throughout the entire process. And then once all of those parts have been delivered and they move into the history, you're going to be able to go into the system and you're going to be able to find that order information, view the details of what it would purchase, when you purchased it, and reorder or do anything you need to do with that data. Now, not only does PartsSource offer you parts, which is in our name, but we've also added a number of other things in, and one of those is repairs and depot repair. You'll notice when you're searching inside PartsSource that quite often you'll come up with repair options, and we'll sell these right alongside right alongside all of the OEM parts options that exist inside the catalog. So when we come in here, we can search for a part, we can order that part just like we would order anything else. You add it to the shopping cart, you complete the purchase just like you would purchase anything else. And the difference is going to be that once that part is purchased, instead of sending you a part, we're going to send you a shipping label. And we're going to go ahead and concierge that process all the way through, meaning not only are we going to tell you, hey, you're doing this repair, it's got 9 days of bench time, we're going to track it on the way in, give you tracking all the way to and from, but you're going to be able to come into your service center and you're going to be able to look at your depot repair and you're going to be able to see an active view of all of this information. You're going to see how many you have initiated, where are they, on their way in, on their way back, are they being repaired? You're going to be able to have complete visibility. And then once those repairs are completed, you're going to be able to have a field service report that's attached to here as well, so that you can have a full record, and they'll be stored inside your full order history, just like everything else that happens inside a PartsSource. So really giving you the ability to look at parts, compare depot repair options, make those purchases the exact same way. And that's whether we're launching out of a CMMS integration, whether we're launching out of an ERP integration, however you need to make those purchases, we're going to be here for you, and we're going to track it all the way through. And the same goes when we look at parts and we say, hey, well, I've got an exchange or a return. You know, we have dedicated pages that are built to let you know, here's that information. We are going to be giving you the documentation. We're going to be giving you the alerts. Now, a lot of what I've talked about now has been really focused on the individual user. You're an individual user, you go into the website and you want to be able to look up your information. We do other things as well when we aggregate this data. And one of the things that we do is we built this command center. And what the command center does is it gives us a complete overview of everything going on inside the organization. Meaning I can come up top, and this is my entire organization. I can get a snapshot in a second of what's happening on March 4th. I can see the parts, the service, the repairs, the loaners that are coming into the system. I get updates down the right-hand side. So if I have orders that are coming over the next few days or things that have been delayed, they're going to get displayed here. I'm going to see key actions like, hey, do I have exchanges that are due? Nobody wins on an ad bill. It's very important that we follow through and send those exchanges back so that ad bills don't get generated. Do we have returns? Or they're pending approvals? We're able to come down and we're able to look at all of this information. And while at a glance, all this information is spectacular, what makes it even more powerful is that it is completely interactive. Meaning that if I'm in here and I say, oh, wait, we have an exchange that's past due, I can click on it and that information is going to be immediately displayed directly down below. Meaning I'm going to be able to come into the system, I'm going to be able to search for the parts I'm looking for. I'm going to be able to have an overview. And if I need to drill into any of these aspects, I'm going to be able to jump right in here and I'm going to be able to get the information that I'm looking for. Now, this is something that some organizations, a lot of our pro customers will put just up in a screen. This will be a screen that they have in the shop, and at a glance, you're going to be able to see anything that's going on. And when I say anything, I mean, it's whether or not these parts are coming in today. It's whether or not those parts are going to be coming in tomorrow. It's whether or not something that's overnight has been delayed. You know, if we have an overnight order and it's been delayed, that is an important thing to know. What is that piece of equipment? Can we get a secondary source? What if it has already been shipped? What is the tracking number so that I know exactly what my item is, when I'm going to receive it, and if I have to set any expectations, let anybody know what's going on, you're going to be able to do that. So these are different ways that we're able to take that same level of information, whether it's the same information that I see right when I launch into my homepage and I get quick links letting me know I have quotes or orders, returns, or exchanges. This is a test account, so it has a lot going on, obviously, but you're going to be able to get quick links to let you know where you're at. You're also, you know, if you're an individual user, it's the same information when you come in and you want to view your orders. You're going to be able to drill in. We're going to be able to see what's going on with my site. I'm going to be able to take a look at what's going on with my orders in terms of what have I have ordered, when am I going to receive it, has something been delayed, you know, and if we have too much information, like in this case where there's 98 orders, we can change that view and we can make it into something like a grid that is a little bit more easier to consume. But no matter what, you always have the ability to use this magnifying glass and be able to drill down by asset, work order, purchase order, manufacturer, part number to get to the information that you're looking for. So whether you're an individual just looking to understand where your parts and when you're going to receive them, or whether you're in charge of a team and you're looking to see exactly where all of the team is and whether or not your parts that for your hard down equipment are going to be arriving today, those are things that we're going to be making available to you. Now, where PartsSource Pro comes in is that anybody can go to this website. And what that means is you can go and you can log in, and we can give you accounts and you can browse. But we have customers that come in and they go, how can we be a better partner? How can we drive down cost? How can we improve efficiency? How can we get better data, better information about how we're procuring parts and how our shop is running so that we can show the rest of the organization the benefit that we're providing? How do we show them where we're saving? How do we show them all of the benefits that we're providing? And that's where PartsSource Pro comes in. We work with you to help you understand what the size of the program is. From there, we're able to basically build a program that allows you to buy parts at our cost for a managed service fee. And with that comes a large number of different PartsSource advantages, whether those advantages are integration and process work, We come in and we do a full breakdown and process discovery to understand exactly how your organization purchases. What are the P's, the people, process, programs, and policies that drive parts procurement? So you look at what CMMS are we using? Are we capturing material data inside of our CMMS? Do we have to put information into a requisition? What is the approval process? Are we being delayed because everything that we're putting into our requisitions is coming in as a special order? Organizations aren't keeping all of these parts inside, all of these parts that you're ordering for clinical engineering, they're not being stored inside an item master. So oftentimes these are going to be special orders. A special order can literally be anything. So there's often more steps, more review, more approval, a slower process to get to a purchase order. And every one of those steps slows down how quickly you can repair that piece of equipment. So is there a way that we can connect to the ERP via integration to help drive and reduce the amount of effort that it takes in order to be able to get to a requisition? So really trying to make it as simple as possible for you to be able to find what you're looking for, create the request or create the order, and then giving you all of the information that you need, all of the status, all of the tracking, all of the information that you need, all the way till the part lands on your door. And once that part gets there, we don't just throw that information out. We then take that information and we make it available to you so that you can quickly dive back into your order history or pull things. Now, with that enterprise level program, the more information that is coming into the system, the more information that is coming into PartsSource, the more that we're able to do for you with that information. Meaning that for our PartsSource Pro customers, we're able to take all of that spend, all of that purchase, all of that quality information that you provide, and we're able to roll it into a set of visual analytics, basically saying, hey, while we can come into our orders and we can view all orders, and I can pull up a report that shows me 2 years worth of rows and columns of everything that we've purchased, while that is an interesting thing, it's more valuable if we can actually take that and move it into actionable intelligence. So if you don't want to be the one trying to understand and pull outcomes out of just data, we're going to do that for you with visual analytics, and it's something that would be available to you right inside the system in real time. And by diving into visual analytics, it takes all of your spend through PartSource and it displays it back so that you get a clear understanding of exactly how you're purchasing. You look at your spend, you can look at variances. We'll highlight missed hard cost savings, and missed hard cost savings are a really unique and interesting point. It's a view of everything inside the catalog where multiple options were available and you chose a more expensive option. There's 2 options, you choose to buy the OEM. And that's a perfectly acceptable option if that's what you want to do. But by taking that information and being able to categorize it together, it allows you to review those opportunities. You may look back and go, man, we bought this battery 80 times last year, and there was $5,000 that we could have saved if we bought it from a secondary market. Well, it's really interesting and really important, I think, to be able to take a look at that. Is it a handle? Is it a cable? Is it something that we can easily go to the secondary market for and make sure that we're putting that information right up front, making it available to you? And if that is the case, that's where it ties right back into formularies. So you can go ahead and you as a leader can go, oh, yeah, well, we should be buying that secondary market cable or battery or bulb or whatever part it may be. And instead of, sending an email or, having a team huddle and going, hey guys, hey, remember when you're buying this part, we're going to go to this vendor, or we're going to buy this condition, or we're not going to go to the OEM, or we are going to go to the OEM only. Instead of doing that, we just set a formulary, and instantaneously the supply chain, the habits, the driving force for all of those technicians changes at the same time. And it's something that your account manager can actively work with you to evolve, meaning none of these decisions are made to last forever. If we are buying from a secondary market or buying from the OEM for 2 years and we decide that we want to make a change or explore options and make those changes, those are things that we can continue to work with and evolve. You're also going to get a breakdown of, so month over month, what are the types of purchase, product category, biomed, DI, you're buying glassware. You start looking at the individual modalities of the parts that you're purchasing. You start looking at the condition type. How often are you buying OEM versus secondary versus tested? Where are those purchase habits going? The different manufacturers, who are making the purchases, what locations are making the purchases, and then the individual lines themselves. So really giving you a full picture of everything that's going on inside your system. And while this alone would be a very powerful tool, the fact is that everything on here that feels like you should be able to click on it is something that you can click on. Meaning if I look down and I go, oh man, what are we buying from in the aftermarket space? We spent 81,000 on flat rate repair. What are we sending? What are we sending out? Well, I click on that, and instantaneously my token expired. Instantaneously the report is going to update. The report is going to update, and that new report is going to contain all of the information that you would have in regards to that subset. So if you wanted to dive strictly into the OEM side of things, if you wanted to go strictly into biomed, or you wanted to drill into any of these individual pieces and parts, you would be able to do so, and it would allow you to quickly jump in and be able to see all of that information. I clicked on a few wrong things here, but basically it allows you to jump in. You can see that information. We can drill down into it. And as we drill down into it, you're going to be able to get some further insights. So if you go, hey, I want to see my biomed spend, or we look at a month over month breakdown and we say, oh, of this month over month breakdown, we want to understand why we had a spike in June. We want to see how you want to see any of those the details or reports. You're going to be able to go ahead, drill in, and find that information. We do the exact same thing when it comes to quality as well. It's one thing to tell you that PartsSource is going to provide you high quality or better than average quality when it comes to parts. It's another to show you every single order that goes through the system and being able to calculate, hey, I can tell you exactly how many orders you have, how many returns. I can tell you what percentage of them was a quality rated return. I can tell you what percentage of them was PartSource's fault, carrier's fault, you ordered the wrong part, failed out of box warranty. It gives you full and complete clarity, not only so that you can hold that PartSource is accountable for the quality that we promised, but at the same time also being able to provide you with leverage if you do need to go to an OEM and say, hey, you guys are not living up. Your parts we are receiving directly from you are not meeting our quality standards or driving issues. So inside here, you go, I click on, biomed, the report instantly updates, and now I'm just looking at the 51% of this spend that is built into the biomed. If I wanted to drill in and click on any of the individual conditions or see how or where any of these different pieces are working, I'm able to drill in, and it allows us to continually improve and understand. So when someone says, hey, I'm not getting high quality parts, you go, okay, well, let's take a look. Or you go, oh, why did we spend so much in June? And you realize, that you had a large imaging purchase. Or if you wanted to come in and you go, hey, well, what is our return rate? How are we driving quality? What are the issues that we're seeing, not only as an organization as a whole, but by these individual conditions or individual modalities of information? You're going to be able to drill down. You're going to be able to see all of the information, and it's all completely interactive. So we're going to give you a nice high-level overview, but you're going to be able to drill down. You're going to be able to get what it is. So whether you're coming in and you're a technician and you're just looking to find a part and get a part ordered or submit a part over to a requisitioner or admin who's going to create the order for you, whether you're coming in here to research and try to identify a part that you don't recognize, whether you are coming in to look up order status, you go, hey, well, where is my part? When am I going to receive it? If you're coming in to get some documentation because you have to send back a return or exchange, or you want to start the return process, all of that information is going to be made available to you, and hopefully in a nice and easy to manage package. And if you're interested in the enterprise level of PartsSource Pro, that's where we can have some deeper conversations, explore what your system looks like. Hey, what are the systems? What are the opportunities we have for integrations? What are opportunities do we have to consolidate vendors under the PartSource umbrella, drive through a singular platform, drive through a singular process, so that you can reduce the number of POs, reduce the complexity. If you're buying parts from 150 vendors, and people do it every day and don't think of it. If it's 150 vendors, that's 150 different points of contact. That's 150 different return places. That's 150 different places to follow up to get order status or back order information. There's 150 different styles of invoices that are coming in. If an invoice isn't going to, if your invoices don't match, and you have to go through exception and find out why it hasn't been received, why does the invoice not match the PO? That's 150 different touch points, where consolidating it through PartSource Not only does it consolidate it through that single source of truth with a dedicated resource to answer your questions, whether it's the day-to-day of parts or whether it's your entire account management as a whole. But it also gives you, the ability to tie directly into whether it's your CMMS or your ERP, into those different technical processes, depending on, exactly what it is that your workflow looks like and how we're able to tie in to that workflow. So that is the basic high level overview of the PartsSource platform. Obviously, there's other stuff that we can do, whether it's setting up individual settings or how you manage those different connections or notifications. But at a high level, it's an e-commerce website. That's what you go to now. When you look at how it transforms the PartsSource Pro, I would say PartsSource Pro really moves, from a vendor and moves us into a trusted resource for procurement. We give you the tools and resources to be able to understand the decisions that are being made. We give you access to the people and tools to help expedite and speed up and streamline the process while providing high-level detailed reporting and analytics. And if there are things that you don't see inside the website, whether it be information or parts, or you wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, oh man, what are we doing here? Or I have an insight, like, how long do we do this? How often are we buying biomed parts and having them shipped overnight? Is there a reason for that? Some organizations I've worked with, and it takes 6 days to get a PO. Well, if it takes 6 days to get a PO, people pick faster shipping methods so their parts come in quicker. And anything that we can do to help speed and streamline that process, we become a trusted partner. And the whole thing is driven just by the expense that you're already spending on parts. PartsSource Pro is not an added cost. PartsSource Pro is just a different way of buying parts that allows you to get access to all of these tools and actually costs less than what you're spending on parts today. And I think that's the real takeaway, is that PartsSource Pro isn't an expense, it's a cost savings, even though you're getting those same parts and they're made available to you through the PartsSource platform, and you're getting dedicated resources, integrations, reporting, analytics, consultation, things of that nature. So I think at this point we can open it up to questions, and I can hopefully answer any questions that I didn't cover during our demo.
Thank you, Jason. We do have some questions come in. The first one up is, what measurable outcomes can customers expect from Pro?
Oh, that's a great question. So when you look at PartsSource Pro, it's, I think it's important to call out right from the beginning that it's not a one-trick pony. When we look at PartsSource Pro, it's a multi-directional approach to how we improve your organization. From measurable success that we're looking for is, we often are going to measure it based on cost savings. We're going to come in, we're going to look to save you money. We are going to look to streamline your process and save you time. It is no exaggeration to say that on average we can save over an hour per order on the whole procure to pay process, from identifying parts, placing orders, following up, getting invoices paid. So by consolidating that down, an organization can save up to an hour per order, and that's spread out, but it's a very, very large impact and drastically reduces the amount of time spent by an organization creating, managing, and fulfilling orders, as well as managing invoices on the back end. We also look to drive and improve quality by being able to reduce the complexity of the supply chain by using all of the volume of orders and metrics that we have. You're going to get higher quality parts. And at the end of it, you're going to get significantly better data. You're going to get much better data about what you're purchasing, where your opportunities are. You're going to have reports not only on what you spend, how the quality is being impacted, how your formularies are impacting your organization. So if you look at it from that aspect, you're looking at, you're saving money, you're saving time, you're getting better quality from the same sources, or a variation of the same sources, while getting better data. So it's free time, money with better data at the end. And these are things that we're able to put together and quantify into the reports and analytics that we show you.
Another question that came in kind of goes along with that is, how scalable is the PartsSource Pro model as demand grows?
That is another fantastic point. PartsSource Pro is when we started going, and selling PartsSource Pro, 10 years ago, as we started to see exactly where it would fit. What became evident is that really PartsSource Pro fits everywhere. If you buy replacement parts, odds are we are a good fit, and that's whether you are a massive organization that has hospitals spread out all over the country and hundreds of people working to fulfill and repair parts, or whether you are a small regional hospital. Everybody needs to buy parts. And the PartsSource program, and part of what we go through is we go through the evaluation of helping you understand what PartsSource Pro means to you, is we go through and we look at that. We go, and what does your spend look like? What do your vendor relationships and contracts look like? What does your procurement process look like? And what we're able to do is build a program that is built for you, meaning we say, hey, based on the data that you have, this is the 85% of parts that we would expect you to move through PartsSource and PartsSource Pro. This is a process and time savings that we're going to put in place. But then the program is also designed to continually grow with you. So as your organization grows, as you're able to expand your skill sets and send people to RSTI and build out your team and bring more items in-house, or as your organization brings on additional facilities or things come off warranty and you bring more people in, the program is designed to grow alongside with you. Meaning that as you grow, the savings and the program grows along with you, and you have an account manager who's going to be there with you the entire time. If you've worked with PartsSource, for any amount of time, you're going to know that we've constantly been adding to all of the different things that we make available. It used to just be parts, and you would buy some, parts from us. And then we started having depot. And now you see that we bring in training and we have on-site service. We can sell you some minor equipment. We have a lot of different contract men. We have a lot of different ways, whether it's, looking at parts, looking at repair, looking at service, looking at talent management. We have all of these different ways that we're able to help you. And the organization or PartsSource is designed to help you through that journey. Sometimes people jump right in and they know exactly what they want to move into, and they buy a lot of different things and make a lot of transformation. Sometimes an organization says, hey, I'd like to do parts, and we're going to look at and expand and grow with things. So the PartsSource Pro program not only is there to help you understand what those options are, it's there to help you have a tailored solution for you. But then we also have resources that are there meeting with you monthly, quarterly, helping you along that journey so that you're not just looking at a basket of goods trying to pick what you choose next. We help you understand where that value is. We help understand your individual organization and individual departmental priorities. And then we build this program to work with you as you grow, whether that's simply I need more parts and I want to buy more parts through PartsSource, or whether I want to expand to the other facets that PartsSource is able to impact and provide help to.
Thank you, Jason. Another question that came in is, can you talk more about the secondary market parts? How does PartsSource vet quality and compare to OEM specs?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big part of it, when I start the journey of PartsSource, I start talking about building the catalog. One of the first things I dive into is everybody's like, oh, you build a catalog and then you put all the parts in there. That's what Amazon did. You got everything there. The reality is we don't live in that space. We don't have the luxury of having parts that aren't of a very high quality in the catalog. You don't need to go and take a look and see if there's the star levels. One of the things I showed, when we were looking at quoted parts was that, and this is something that happens in the background that you don't always see, is that every transaction that goes through PartsSource, every single part, whether it's the OEM or the secondary market, we have a dozen different metrics about how that particular vendor performed, how that part performed for that vendor. And those scores are fed into the system, and that precision procurement engine is what determines what parts are made available on the website. Meaning that we are looking at how quickly they're able to perform, what their pricing is, are they outlasting their warranty, all of these other metrics in the secondary market to determine what is the best quality option. PartsSource has also, acquired some secondary market vendors in an effort to have more control over those and those performance line parts and those other, the parts that we try to drive through there. But the reality is that the majority of parts that you see when you look at the secondary market, what we've done is we have a supply and quality teams that are constantly looking. We have a dozen metrics that go for every customer buying through PartsSource, have those same dozen metrics that fly through here. Those generate a score, and that score is what dictates what parts are made available on the website. I mean, little things just like this is not something you see everywhere. A quality return rate. I mean, if you asked me, hey, Jason, what part do you think gets returned more because of quality, an OEM or a secondary market part? The natural thought is, well, the secondary market probably gets returned more than the OEM. It's the original equipment, it's the OEM part. But in this instance, you can see, now mine, it's not a big change, 0 to 0.1%, but there is a difference, and we do compare and contrast these. And it's something that is actively managed. It's not like we took a snapshot and continue to work with it. You can be a spectacular vendor for 10 years. And if you move facilities, you get acquired, and all of a sudden the quality starts to drop. We start seeing returns. We start seeing warranty failures. Parts aren't being shipped. They're not arriving in good condition. Any of the instances that could drive a quality outcome, we're going to go ahead and pull those items directly from the catalog. It comes out automatically, and then the quality team is going to dive in to find out what's going on there. So quality is an incredibly important part. One of the things when we talk about the enterprise is consolidating orders, right? If you consolidate 150 vendors through PartsSource, all 150 vendors' problems become PartsSource's problems. So we have to be better than everybody else. That's how we have a quality return rate that's under 0.5%, which is 6 times better than the national average that we see across the industry. So what we're doing is we're measuring every transaction. We hold organizations accountable. And if you're a vendor that's selling a lot of parts through PartsSource, you know immediately when you get turned off. And vendors don't want to be turned off. Having a high quality and being able to stay inside the catalog and being able to have access to people who purchase through PartsSource is very important to them and important to us.
Great. We have time for one more question. The questions we don't get to, we will email to you and PartsSource so you can answer those questions. This one is, can I set up an account as an individual? I'm a contractor working in Haiti.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know how well we are able. I mean, the short answer is yes, you can set up an account. I don't think we restrict location. I don't think we restrict location. I don't know the specifics about whether or not we can ship to Haiti. I know that there's lots of individual rules and laws about where we are able to send our parts or where they are willing to drop ship said parts. We can get you that answer. Obviously, the United States is our wheelhouse. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I would have to double check to see whether or not we can ship out of the country. It is a question we get a lot. Selling parts outside of the United States isn't as easy as it always sounds.
All right, thank you so much, Jason, for sharing your expertise with the TechNation community today. That was a great presentation. The winner of today's multi-tool for correctly answering the trivia question is Glenn Frazier from California. The correct answer is Georgia. Georgia is the state that produces the most peanuts. As a final reminder, you can obtain your CE certificate by completing the post-webinar survey. The survey will be emailed 1 hour after this session. You must complete the survey to receive your CE credit from the ACI, and you will be able to download your certificate immediately after submitting the survey. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. Thank you for your attention today, and have a great day.